Hola mis amigas! Welcome back. Today is a very exciting day because today I'm going to be revealing the cover for Hope on the High Seas, Book 1, free. So I figured just before I show you the cover real quick, I would show you the original illustrations that I did before I came to the final one that ended up being for the cover. So the first illustration, the first kind of cover version, I suppose, for free was actually one that I drew when I was very first writing the book. I drew this picture, I started drawing this picture on June 10th, 2017, and here is what the picture looks like. You can see Ruth there in the middle, and then you have the two main side characters. Leonard's right here, and then Captain Edward is there on the other side. They're the two main side characters. You can see them kind of looking at each other, and I don't know if you can read their expressions, but I kind of tried to communicate kind of their relationship or lack thereof in the drawing, and then I have different sailors in the background. You can see from the picture that I never finished it, and the reason I never finished it is because I decided it looks nice, but it's not necessarily what you would expect for a cover image. A cover image is usually more centered around the people and less on the background, like something like rigging, at least, and you know what I was thinking that I wanted for my book cover. So the second illustration that I drew, and I actually did come up with a couple designs on the computer using this one, was this one. And on this one, I went into much more detail. You can see in the background there's a ship. You may recall that I actually showed a picture on social media of that little ship in the background saying it was my first sneak peek of the cover for my main work in progress. Well, I ended up not using this illustration, which isn't the end of the world. In case you're wondering, here is what one of the original designs looked like. And also, I just didn't really like how the clouds were, and then the main problem was that as I did more research, I discovered that generally on a novel cover, at least for the genre I was looking at, you don't generally have all three characters pictured the same zoom, for lack of a better phrase. Usually you have one character who is the center of attention, and generally they're the only person pictured in the drawing. So I liked this, and it turned out really good, and you can also see how I kind of tried to allude to the relationship of Captain Edward and Leonard, and of course you have Ruth in the middle with her Bible, but it just still wasn't quite right. And I showed it to some people, they liked it. Sorry if you can hear the noise in the background. My dad's working on a project in the next room over, but that's okay. Hopefully it won't be too loud. And then finally, I came up with the illustration for the final cover. And here's just where I'll go ahead and reveal the final cover for you. So here is the front cover for my novel, Hope on the High Seas, Book 1, free. You can see that we have Ruth standing there at the center of attention holding her Bible, and she's looking out over the sea to a square rigger, a ship, where the majority of the story takes place. The clouds look a lot better, the water looks a lot better, the ship looks a lot better, it just looks better. And it looks more like you would expect a novel cover to look. So you can see also that I have a little border around kind of a papery background on which I've placed the title, and that kind of ties the whole thing together. And then I wanted a nice flowy font, so I added that, but it actually took me I want to say at least a dozen tries to get to this place. I'm not a graphic designer, and I have not designed book covers before. I mean, I've played around with it, but I haven't actually designed a book cover before, and it was a very, very challenging process. I still have to take this and turn it into the cover wrap, which is, the front spine and back. I started working on that. I haven't quite figured out how to do all the works of that yet, but that's okay. For now, we have the front cover, and I've designed the back cover and the spine, and here we are. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Just a word to any of you who are considering self-publishing your own books. Designing your own cover is a lot of work, and a cover is a very instrumental part of how you sell a book. Now, normally you don't want to go with illustrated covers that aren't done with digital art, but in my instance, I am hoping to market this book largely to the homeschool world, and I am hoping that I can get a couple of homeschool convention vendors to sell my book for me. I'm working on pitching that to them right now, and that's how I'm hoping to sell this book largely. But in the future, I do plan to get a professional cover designer just because a cover is so important to the success of a book, and there are a lot of things that graphic designers know that I'm sure I don't know, and there are many, many reasons why it's better to go with a professional cover designer than to design it yourself. In this instance, I didn't have the budget for a professional cover designer. Also, I'd always envisioned a drawn cover because I knew that I was going to be trying to market it to Homeschool World, and there are many, many examples of books sold and marketed to the homeschool world that have illustrated covers that are not done with digital art. But I just wanted to just throw that out there that if you are thinking about self-publishing your own book and you would like to design the cover, maybe this has been helpful, but do get a professional's advice because I am not a graphic designer and I don't know all the tips and tricks that I'm sure they do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you love the cover for my novel, Free. Hope on the High Seas, Book 1, and I also hope that you will head on over to Goodreads and add it to your want to read list. It will be going up for pre-order on February 11th, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for coming with me along this exciting journey, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!